my little soapbox there, but the subject now is inventions, past, present, and future. And we've got some new faces in the room. We've got all Buddy's back. Nice to see you again. We've got Matteo. I don't know if you're Italian, but welcome to Buongiorno. It's early for you if you are Italian. Thanks for joining the party. Hope you're having your coffee. We've got Radu McPhee at the back there and some other people floating around, Mr. Bond. So thanks for joining me for the 21st hour here. As said before, there we go. It's all in aid of the Italian Red Cross of Lecce, but generally just the spirit of helping out other people. Let's jump now to the next slide and see what we've got on this subject. So inventions, or inventors, I should say, nature or nurture. What do we think? Does it, and you've got the raise hand button down there. If you look at the bottom right, you click a raise hand icon and you can ask a question anytime you like and we can give you the megaphone. We've got Radu McPhee, I think. There is also, oh no, that's from the last meeting. Or Radu McPhee.
I think I'll have to say maybe nature. Would that be okay?
Yeah. So when we say about nature versus nurture, or nurture versus nature, how could you define that, Radu McPhee? What does that mean? Tough question. You said nature. Does anybody agree with him? Is that nature? Do you think? And actually, let's just be clear. Okay, before we continue. So you talk about nature and nurture. You're talking about is it the in your DNA, in your blood? Are you a born inventor, for example, or is it nurture? Is it something that's developed in you, or maybe stimulated in you by the external environment? Mr. Bond, you've said some very insightful things today, and actually, yes, you're on the list. Go ahead. What do you want to say?
Hi, so I just wanted to say this would definitely be a nurture, as in human growth and development. Nature is all in your genetic code as like a reflex. Nurture, you're always going to be taught by your parents and everything. So I believe inventors are always brought up by those that are behind, like that are from past.
Yeah. Interesting point. Okay. And Mr. Bond, would you say that you have a kind of a creative streak in you? You have the capability to be an inventor?
No.
I wouldn't say an inventor, but maybe some sort of like, I guess, I can't think of the word, but I want to like bring education out. I want to teach people. So I wouldn't say that's like an invention, but more of an inspirer to make inventors, if that makes sense.
Yeah, that does. You've actually raised a good point, like definition of invention. I mean, we often think of inventors as creating something maybe tangible, like all we did, but actually now, particularly in the digital world, people like Max Chacon, who we were talking to just over an hour ago, he's an inventor. He's creating things, and it doesn't need to be necessarily something physical you can hold in your hand necessarily. So inventors, you're right, could be maybe a new methodology, for example, within education or cultural collaboration, whatever you want. So this is the new chapter of education for sure. So yeah, we've got nature or nurture. As we've said before, this is an English lesson. So for the camera up there looking, I guess for the people in the future might watch this, or right now you could say it's in the DNA, the blood. It's handed down to you, or passed down to you would maybe be more appropriate. Passed down to you in the sense of through inheritance, maybe through the genetics of a family. And I don't know if Einstein had children. I don't know if what his children would be up to today if they're still alive. But it would be interesting to kind of see, yeah, okay, as a percentage of these great Nobel Prize winning inventors, writers, authors, what a percentage of their offspring maybe became, in inverted commas, successful, maybe in fields of their own. So that would be quite interesting to explore. But and if anybody wants to add anything to that, please feel free to raise your hand, or we can come to you. But in the meantime, we're going to jump forwards to the next slide, and I'm just going to give you some quotes right now to get the creative juices going in you. So a library is a repository of medicine for the mind. So we spoke again about reading a good number of hours ago. Matteo, Good morning. Are you English speaker, Italian? Where are you from? Let's go to the host panel. We'll come to you in a minute, buddy. Matteo, I'm going to give you the mic. If you want to speak, you can. If not, just wave your hands. No. Okay, no problem. Maybe fix your audio or a little bit shy. Buddy, we're going to come to you. Hang on a minute. Oh no. There we go. Sorry, just trying to navigate the controls here. Buddy, fire away, mate. What have you got to say?
Oh no, I was just trying to express the quote. Like the quote, a library is just like filled with what's the word? Intelligence in books. Literature is like meditating. We experience stuff we did and learn not to do again. But books are another way of doing it because we could read about biology, we can read about Christianity, we can read about anything our mind wants us to do, so it just fills up with facts and everything else.
That's a great point. Yeah, you're right. So it's actually about experiential learning. It's about immersing yourself maybe in places like this to get a deeper sense. But do you think there is value, maybe I didn't catch that fully, but do you think there is a value in the libraries and the books, or do you think it's all about experience and getting your hands dirty? What do you reckon?
I mean, it's a bit of both because you can read about something and not experience it, but you can experience something but not really know what it is.
Yeah, true. You're getting deeper. This is deep. Okay, so you can actually experience something but not know what it is. You're absolutely right. I didn't think about that. Okay, good. So yeah, libraries as medicine for the mind, and we again 19 hours ago now, Federico Pianzola, hopefully I'm saying it correctly, he was talking about reading applications in virtual reality and how reading itself is changing, because traditionally we'd look at kind of 2D text on a page, for example, and now it's becoming this thing where you embody the characters in the story and you're immersed by these swirling letters and the sounds of the experience as well, and maybe taking you on the journey that the character would do. So that's where VR really plays a role. So what you spoke about there, buddy, is absolutely right on the button. We've got, I know there's nobody else. If you do want to talk, please do click the raise hand button. But otherwise, let's just go on to the next quote about creativity. And it's, here we go, 1,000 artisans, 1,000 plans. I'll give you a moment to reflect on that. I don't know if Paulie, you want to say something? We've got some people at the back. We've got Craig, aka Mr. Something. I can't read that properly. We've got Nick in Canada, Stavik, Daniel. If you want to say something, now's the time to talk. If you want to interpret that, or if you agree or disagree with it, now's the time to talk. You can press the raise hand button. Otherwise, I'll be volunteering. Volunteer with them. Margie.
Yes.
Hello.
Hello.
How would you interpret that?
I guess it's right off the cuff, everybody has an idea. I mean, anything is possible.
That's right. Yeah. And also, actually, it's kind of possibly, we're talking about food. We can't help but bring in the previous conversations. Too many cooks spoil the broth. Was that the expression?
Yes.
Too many cooks in the kitchen. There's another one as well, which is, what is it? A camel is a horse designed by a committee as well. I think that's another one. In other words, that you try, if you get people together and try to get them to draw or design a horse, they end up coming up with a camel, which is, sorry to say about the poor old camel, but it's not as graceful as the horse, and it kind of comes out as this distorted vision of an idea that maybe was meant to be a bit more graceful. And maybe it's the same concept here as well. Everybody has a different plan. Everybody has a different idea, especially artisans, creative people. Good. Okay. If you want to say anything, you can. Otherwise, I'll just jump forward to the next slide. Great ideas are the fuel of progress. There we go. That's another interesting quote. Obviously, we're surrounded by quotes. Most people these days use WhatsApp every few days. Use but hashtags that you've seen before. They're very easily bandied about, but there is a lot of sense to this one, isn't there? Great ideas are the fuel of progress, and I guess you shouldn't have any fear. Is there anybody in the room that has invented something, maybe created something, maybe a little machine you've built in the garage or in the back garden on a hot summer's day? Has anybody done anything? Mr. Barnes, you give me some hearts. Do you want to give my the microphone? Let's do this right now. Mr. Bond, megaphone. What do you reckon? Have you built anything?
Okay, so I did invent something when I was a little kid. I hated having to always throw away my water bottles that are on the top of my bed. So I made this little ramp slide to where all my water
Okay.
go down, and it would mech things to move around.
Interesting. And did you go global? Did you sell it to the mass market?
I did not. It was just a little 6-year-old me messing with that little mech thing that I had for Christmas.
Okay. Do you think that experience, though, do you think that it still lives with you today, maybe the way you approach things? Because, you could just kind of poo-poo it and dilute it, so it's just, a silly little contraption. Actually, it reflected your, tinkering skills, as we spoke about before, at 1 o'clock in the morning for me, at 8 o'clock in Toronto, and where we touched upon the subject of tinkering and experimentation. It's really, really important, isn't it?
I don't know if it's just me, but you're breaking up a lot. It could be just me.
Okay, I'm going to re-enter
I just re-entered and
Thanks,
all
everybody.
that, and it's
All
still
right,
him.
no problem. I'll be back in 15 seconds. Stay there.
One of the things that we have that since we came into all spaces, we can create our own worlds.
That is true.
I've never created a world in my whole life. And now I have an island and a happy place. And all space gives us the tools to be so creative.
I have my own mystery island now.
That's right.
Yep.
I know.
And don't forget Minecraft. The hours I've spent building stuff and making stuff in Minecraft with redstone and stuff.
I had never been in there, but I've heard good things about it. I need to try it.
It's really fun.
Yeah. Okay.
Michael,
Well,
we were
we're
just
back.
talking about how
Yeah.
wonderful it is to be in alt space because we can build our own
yeah.
world.
Oh, yeah. Decent, change, wasn't it? I mean, even 5 years ago, I don't think this existed. It still blows people's mind that they can learn English on Skype and Zoom, let alone come into these virtual worlds. It's still kind of seek the bricks and mortar building. So you're absolutely right. And actually, if people did not make the session earlier with Alan Chow, CHOW, he built a world in the beekeeping farm or a bee farm, and what he did, he took with a drone a picture, a 360 image of the nature around where he lives, and he modelled the exact representation of his beekeeping equipment, put it into Allspace, and you can visit that, and he often runs events. Definitely check that out. And he had the bees flying around. That's just unprecedented levels of realism, and also just building people's contextual understanding of how to learn and just share knowledge. Yeah. So actually, it's the threads, the themes. few hours ago, and she had actually sold 2,000 pairs of sandals, and she's only 15, and she started the business, I think she was like 9 years old, out in Canada. So 2,000 pairs of sandals, and when you put them on, after a few hours, the sun kind of creates a tan line of a heart, which is all very nice. And she sold 2,000. She sold out. She's not making any more. So I was trying to get myself a discount, get myself an early Christmas present, but she'd already sold out. But you know, that's the capability that people have these days as well. They can easily set up a business. You can maybe come online, you can sell it, you can create a website, and the rest is history. So, all right, great ideas are the fuel of progress. Let's move on and see what we've got on the next slide. This is a bit of history for you. Can I get somebody to read while I, Buddy, you're a great speaker. You've come up with some interesting ideas so far, and I like your white shirt. So we're going to give you the megaphone to speak, because I want you to read that text. We can listen to some American English. There we go. You're on megaphone. Far away, buddy. Can you read that?
I like it that you like my American accent.
Yeah.
Tapati, am I saying it right? Tapati.
Yeah.
Tapati was a perfume maker and the world's first chemist, who was mentioned in a cuneiform tablet from the second millennium BC in Mesopotamia. Recently, scientists discovered the world's most ancient perfumes dating back to about 4,000 years ago. They found some 60 stills, mixing bowls, fumes, and perfume bottles. That's kind of interesting.
It is, and I just took my 10th gulp of that water because you've saved my mouth and vocal cords there, buddy. Thanks a lot for stepping in and reading that. And we've got this history lesson. And actually, you know, we live in a world of aesthetic. You know, we see aesthetic beauty everywhere. People trying to make themselves look nice, and you know, nice perfume and smell nice and look nice. And it's actually important to remember that this is something that's been around for a long, long time. Yeah, like creativity, people trying to maybe sell or market products, and it actually doesn't talk about that at the moment. But it'd be interesting to think how this person, this female chemist called Tapiti, how she may have marketed or sold her products. I don't think she would have had a website, but certainly maybe she would have gone around the local markets and sold that perfume. So that was made out of flowers and herbs and things like that. Buddy, have you ever created anything? Have you ever invented anything?
I know I have, but I can't think of anything coming to mind. I will let you know if I do.
Okay, yeah. Let us know if anything springs to mind. Margie, let's come to you. Now, look, we're talking about creativity, we're talking about progress, talking about entrepreneurism, etc. I mean, is this a streak you have? Do you have a creative streak, a business streak in you?
When I was 63, I lost my job and didn't know what I was going to do. And so a friend of mine went to the beach with her family, and we brainstormed what I would do for the rest of my life. And I started my own company. And it worked out very well. And that's been a couple of years ago. And so I would not have had faith in myself to do that. All right.
Yes.
You know, people always told me I should do that, but I didn't know I could do that. So, but I did it.
Congratulations. Yeah, amazing. And without digging too deep into that, I've just got kind of a very more significant question, but it possibly quite relevant. Is, do you think that, you need to have the courage? Is that because the kind of the nudge of your friend in the right direction, or is it because you felt like maybe you'd hit the bottom of that particular professional experience and, you'd have nothing to lose?
I think it was, I made a decision never to work for another corporation.
Okay. Yeah.
And I wanted to be my own boss. And I'm amazed, but it makes you appreciate the friends you've made in the past, all the contacts.
Yeah.
all the relationships because they come in handy
Oh yeah,
when
don't
you
burn
fight on
those
your own.
bridges.
Yep.
That's it. Yeah, you can always call on us people that maybe you met many, many years before. And had you ever, final question on that, do you ever, like, a kind of a dormant thing in you? Did you know it existed? Or did you ever kind of flirted with the idea of starting a company, maybe in your 20s, 30s, 40s?
I think so, but I'm from such a traditional generation where the paycheck, and don't ruffle the feathers and don't make waves. So it took me a while to find that in me.
Yes. Okay. All right. Interesting story. Let's move on because we've got a few more things, and actually we haven't even looked at some of the more modern inventions. But this is jumping forward in time to some of the key inventions of the very, very recent history. This is the 1938 invention of the Massey Harris number 10. I'd love for somebody else to read that, but I don't want to. Ariel, do you, the lady from Indiana, if I remember correctly, do you want to read that for us, please, so we can listen to your nice? Yeah, give it a go.
The 1938 inventions of the series no 20 self-propelled combination harvester by eliminating the need of horse or splitter tractors that no 20 wait, I can't see that. Essentially speed up harvesting times, making more grain available to more people in less time. It and missions like it becomes part of improving food security in countries such as the US.
Fantastic. Thanks very much, Harry. You said you were a bad reader. You were lying. That was fantastic. All right. Every word correct. Yes. A 1938 invention of the Massey Harris number 20 self-propelled combine harvester. So this is a combine harvester, and there's a guy there operating that. So yeah, this basically, as Ariel kindly read for us, eliminated the need for horses or separate tractors, and it massively sped up or increased the speed. Is the path simple for you, anyone learning a language? Today I speed, yesterday I sped, and it sped up in the past harvesting time, so you could basically make more grain to people in less time. So thanks very much for reading that. And yeah, this is the agricultural revolution. They say that we're in now the fourth is it the fourth industrial revolution or the fourth revolution, something like that. Obviously previous ones have been with agriculture. Then we had the industrial revolution 150 200 years ago, and then we had the kind of the technology, and now we're kind of coming to this thing where actually we're almost kind of embodying these avatars on a much more regular basis. So they're supposedly billing it as the fourth revolution, but if anybody does want to add anything to that, and they're a bit more knowledgeable about it than I am, please do. We've got some more people entering the room. Good to see you from wherever you're from. Let's jump forward to another invention and pick up some more vocabulary and see what we can say about this. So yeah, this is an interesting one because it's kind of similar to what we're doing now. I'm talking, you're listening to me very politely, and we're hearing from everybody in the room. But we've got a man here who's sending images and text over wire. And this had been around for some time before Richard Ranger invented the photoradiogram. That's a long old word, but it means which was able to transmit an image of President Calvin Coolidge from New York to London. I assume that's the president there being zapped across the Atlantic Ocean, and so that was from New York to London. Wire sleeves. So that was the first real kind of thing, image sent across the world that wasn't sent in the post. I imagine. I don't think there would have been anything before that. Anybody want to add anything to that? Steve Bambury's in the house. Steve, good morning to you, sir. Excellent, good. We're on the topic of, yeah, feel free to have a look around. We'll be with you in 25 minutes or so, and Dr. Sun are free. So everybody, you will not want to miss this. Steve is an Englishman out in Dubai. I think I think you're out there, aren't you, with Digital Inception. You set up a company supporting schools with immersive technology like what you're experiencing now. So you definitely want to stay and listen to Steve's talk. We're going to be digging a little bit deeper into his journey over in that part of the world. We're talking about inventions, and this was the president being zapped across the pond, the Atlantic Ocean, and this was really, as it said here, it started a business communication revolution, allowing for the transmission of higher quality images faster than ever before. So thanks, Ariel, for reading that. Excellent pronunciation with your beautiful American English accent, which is a refreshing change from this Southern British English that people are listening to now for the best part of 22 hours. Let's move now to the what's this? Margie, what's that?
I know. TV set.
That's a TV set. Yes, someone else said it as well. Margie, do you remember the first time you watched TV?
Yes. It was, well, it's a long time ago.
Yeah. People are sitting here now, scratching their heads, thinking, what's that? So, and now we've got Netflix and it's kind of like a romantic company, wasn't it? As we touched on an hour ago, the whole family gathering around TV set once for half an hour and watching a program, no?
Yeah.
Yeah. That's it. That's what it was. I remember growing up, that was, programs as well coming over from your country over to England with Sky and things like that we'd never really seen before, like simple things like The Simpsons. I remember it was this massive excitement in the school because we could watch these yellow cartoon characters that everyone in the US was watching, and now finally we could as well. So yeah, that's. But we certainly didn't watch it on anything like that. But yeah, do you think? What about the quality of TV these days? I mean, do you watch much TV, Margie?
Yes, I do.
You do, yeah.
You mean the quality of the shows themselves?
Yeah, exactly. Is it going downhill? What do you think about it?
Oh, I don't know. I think it's almost cyclical. I don't care for any of the reality shows, but I love like Downton Abbey.
Okay.
Was a wonderful series. A lot of the PBS shows. I like police detective shows. So yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah, and again, those types of shows, they give you an insight into a part of the life that you ordinarily wouldn't be able to get to, like the prisons, and maybe most people do not step foot in a prison, but you can kind of get that interesting insight into what life might be like. And also Downton Abbey, you've got obviously historical elements there as well, and the great documentaries of PBS. So that's it. That's what TV offers in that medium, and it's certainly gone a long, long way in our lifetimes as well. So let's move forward to the next slide, which is, now these are some of the more crazy or crazier inventions that have existed. And I asked you if you had a creative streak, anyone, and Mr. Bond at the back there, he invented something interesting, which I don't think that was a pretty good idea compared to this. We've got LED slippers, so that's something pretty useful if you want to get up in the night to pay a visit. And I don't know if anybody's got a weak bladder out there, but if you need to get up in the middle of the night a few times, that's going to save you from potentially falling down the stairs. The picture in the middle, we've got an ostrich pillow, and I think that probably wins the prize for the most ridiculous invention. I'm trying to work out why you'd want to put your head in that hat in that way. Answers on a postcard. Please feel free to chip in and explain that to me, because I have no idea. We've got a question coming. Is that right, or am I imagining it? I'm seeing a few questions. Participation. Yes, we'll come to you, buddy, in 2 seconds. We've Joseph, you've been kindly waiting. You've got the mic. Joseph, you're live. Unmute yourself. Accept the invitation. No, you're still muted. You need to sort that out, Joseph. We'd love to hear from you. While you rectify that, we're going to go to Buddy. He wants to say something. Maybe he's inspired by one of those inventions. Buddy, what's on your mind?
Oh, no, I was just, you said to explain the ostrich pillow.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like if you want to sleep somewhere publicly, like on a bus in the park or something like that. So if you don't have any darkness or anything like that, you just basically put that on for darkness so you can go to sleep. And then you can like wrap your arms inside of it so you feel comfortable and everything like that. Your head,
True.
so basically you put it on so it feels like a pillow, basically.
Okay. Have you got one of these?
I wish. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't.
All right. Well, we will. I don't know if anyone's associated with the company who's invented this, but if anyone's out there listening to this, then get Buddy one of these because he sounds like he's going to be a great ambassador for your products. And then we've got here the goggle umbrella, which I don't know. I mean, I can see where they're coming from. Umbrellas can be pretty, especially in the kind of city centres when you kind of need to keep it low in order to not be guillotined by people walking past you. But I think that's pretty useful compared to. And I think, to be honest, the LED slippers I quite like as well. So for me personally, those two on the ends win the prize, but the one in the middle, no, thank you. Let's jump forward, and we've got some more ridiculous inventions just to talk about for the final 15 minutes of this lesson, and it's baby shower cap. Okay, no comment. We've got the dog umbrella, more umbrellas, and we've got the cutting board bird feeder, which is absolutely ridiculous. Now, I don't want to generalize here, but one country that I associate with being very inventive is Japan. I don't know if we've got any Japanese people in the room right now, but it seems to run quite deep in their culture. And I've been to Tokyo twice and other parts of Japan, and it's just incredible walking around there. Does anyone want to say anything about that? Maybe knows a little bit about Japanese culture. I think there are a huge number of patents that are kind of issued as well for everything under the sun that they've invented. Anything you want to say? Mr. Bond, you're from South Africa. You're going towards, well, actually, you're going in the opposite direction. My geography's terrible after 22 hours. But Mr. Bond, Japan, have you been there before? What can you say about that? Hang on a minute, we'll give you the megaphone. Nick, we're coming to you in 2 seconds. Hold tight. Mr. Bond, I've given you a megaphone. Japanese, they're quite inventive people.
Yes, they are very inventive. I believe one of the inventions that they made was the umbrella with the goggles that you actually showed. That was one of them.
Okay.
One of their glorious inventions, anime, I watch that
Oh,
currently.
yeah.
I watch that more than I watch actually American shows, so they are very inventive, and without them, honestly, we wouldn't have a lot of things that we have today.
Yeah, great point. Okay. So yeah, there are certainly some mass scale global inventions or creations that the Japanese have brought to the world. Of course, not even mentioning the technology as well. But yeah, these are some of the crazy inventions out there. But let's go forward to some of the more realistic ones. Actually, oh no, that's the end of the slides. So we need to think of something to say for about 2 minutes. We've got a question over here. Skurdster, let's come to you. You've been waiting patiently. And Nick, sorry, I didn't come to you in the end, but we will do. Be patient. We'll come to you. Actually, Nick was first in line, Skurdster. Hold tight, Skurdster. So we're going to be with you in 2 minutes. Nick, fire away.
Oh, I just wanted to say, yeah, the Japanese are definitely invent a lot of things. It's in their nature, and they're definitely a little ahead in technology for that matter. They got lots of different weird stuff going on down there, but it's fun.
Yeah. Well, Nick, just a follow-up question on that. What do you think is the deal there? Like, why is I don't think we're generalising here either too much. I mean, it's how does a country get to a point or a group of people where maybe they are more inventive than others? How could you stimulate that maybe in Canada, for example, if that doesn't exist?
You cut out for quite a bit of that. You went all robotic.
Okay.
Okay. I think you said that, yeah, no, I lost it. I don't know what he said.
Yeah, let me just repeat that, and I'll re-enter the room. How can we create a culture of creativity in a country?
Creativity. Okay, that's a hard question. I mean, it all. Oh, let's wait till he comes back.
Honestly, I think it's with the school systems, how their classes are all more geared towards creativity and less like schools, like less less
Yeah.
test scores. I definitely do believe it's more of the schooling than anything else.
And
Mr.
it's,
Bond, can you turn your microphone up? 'Cause
How's that?
Yeah, that's a bit better. Yeah.
Yeah, it's way better.
Sorry about that, guys.
Great. Okay. So I don't know if we ended up getting an answer for that about creativity and a culture of creativity. Skirts, we're going to come to you right now. Thanks for your patience, and Buddy, you're next on the list. So Skirts, what have you got to say?
The headline for this room was teach English, but everyone here is
Okay.
speaking it. So I'm just
Yeah.
curious. It's my first time here. Kind of
Okay.
shy, but
Nothing wrong with that.
so
Yeah.
if we all speak English here, then why does it say that it's teaching English?
Great question. Excellent question. And I do have an answer. It's because not everybody here that comes and goes is a native English speaker. So we haven't actually heard from everybody. There were some people in the room that were not native speakers. I think Nora as well is a name I recognise. I don't want to get it wrong where you're from, but basically this is a 24-hour event just to promote how technology could be used for teaching as well. And we've got a bot up there who's actually filming everything that's going on. So it's going to be useful for people who are going to be watching back at this in the future as well on the Educators in VR YouTube channel. So you can definitely check that out. So that's a good question. But ultimately, it's just about people from different parts of the English speaking world, even just communicating and sharing ideas about how they see life and these everyday topics. So I hope that answers your question.
I think
Yeah.
it should just be renamed. That's all. But
Okay,
okay,
yeah.
thank you.
I'll double check that. Thanks for
It's confusion.
let's know, Skirster. Yeah.
'cause I don't
Thanks for the
understand-
information. Yeah. We can't hear you.
sorry,
Someone is muting them.
they keep muting me.
Continue talking,
Red guy.
Skirster. We're listening.
Okay, please don't mute me again. Thank you. So yeah, I wanted to come improve my English, but okay,
Sure.
I'm just gonna
Yeah,
listen.
no.
Thank you.
No, thanks, Skirster, for your interaction. And, this is what it's all about. If there's any typos, if there's any kind of wrong titles, etc., you need to let the know. So really appreciate it. Thanks very much. We've got some other people. I hope your shoes aren't muddy because you shouldn't really be doing that. Okay, there we go. We've got Buddy. That's all right, no problem. We'll let you off. Buddy, there we go. You've got the megaphone. What do you want to say about this? Any of these inventions,
Oh
Buddy?
no, I was just going to continue on Japan and everything like that. Like most people
Okay.
I know
Yeah, sure.
who have like Japanese heritage inside of them, with them, they tend usually to have like an extracurricular activity after school, like the violin, piano, karate, and everything like that. And studies show that like extracurricular activities like help your brain more, and everything like that. And
Yeah,
I believe that that's what's been doing that.
that's a really good point. So do you yourself have any extracurricular activities?
Well, I used to take karate and everything like that. I used
Oh,
to do
sorry,
that
you said.
stuff.
Yeah.
I used to do that
Okay.
stuff, but not anymore.
Well, that's a really valid point, yes. So actually, it's not all about the academic education. It's also about trying to expand your mind and your body, etc., in alternative ways. And certainly exercise and violin, music, etc., as you touched on there, could be a great way to build those creativity skills. And we touched on this again in a previous conversation. We're hitting all the right buttons today with what you're talking about there, buddy, because these virtual worlds that are in now can immerse you in locations that ordinarily you wouldn't be able to get to, and you can communicate with all these people. So even just the simple fact that you're communicating with us now, listening to other ideas from people around the world, it's just building your wider knowledge of the world. And you might be able to take that into the physical world and just jobs you might do in the future. So very well done, Joseph. We're gonna listen. You've tried a few times to talk. I really want to give you the megaphone. I'll try it again. You're not muted anymore. Do you want to have a try to speak? We can't hear you. You might want to.
Hello.
Oh, there we go. We can hear you finally.
All right. Sorry, I was AFK when I was supposedly was up. So I still don't get how I'm confused on how the cutting board bird feeder works. Like, what do you? Because
listen, join the queue, Joseph. There's a lot of questions. There's too many questions and answers here. I too do not know. I mean, surely the bird would just fly onto the side of the chopping board, and you kind of scoop them up from there rather than wait for it to fall down the tube. Is that your point?
Sure.
Yeah.
All right, fair enough.
Fair enough. Well, thanks for raising the question. We've got somebody, a buddy. Oh no, there we go. Okay, good. Well, listen, we're going to start to wrap this up in a moment.
I didn't mean to click it. I'm sorry.
That's all right. No problem. Hang on a minute.
Oh,
Let's just tidy this up.
Alan has to do this.
Hi.
There we go. We're cleaning it up in here. Good. Right, I'm on to, I think, number 12. I've kicked out 12 people. Come on. If you think you're hard enough, have a go. Let's get this number to 15. There we go. Right, we're ready and waiting with you. We've got mods scattered all over the place. But anyway, there's been really great talking. I think we've come to the end of this conversation. I've come to the end of the slides for sure. I'm not going to say what I'm going to do now because you know what it means. It's beverages and something in my belly to keep me going. Feel free to mingle amongst yourselves. I'm going to take a 7-minute break now, and then we'll be back just before the start of the calm down, Joseph. There's no need to get excited. And I'll be back at 7 o'clock Italy time, 6 o'clock in London, and wherever you are in the world, you can check out the time zones. But I'll see you in about 5-6 minutes. Feel free to mingle, and we'll be back with Dr. Farid and Steve Banbury. Sorry, question.
Are you a professor?
I'm an English teacher. Don't call me a professor. It sounds too... I'm not a professor. I'm a teacher.
But you know a lot about the world, so you must be more than just an English teacher.
That's an interesting question. I guess I just talk for a living, and when you talk a lot, you have to read a lot to make sure you don't say anything that's going to make you, say anything embarrassing. And also, I talk to people like you all day long, from different parts of the world. So I'm learning from you. So it's not difficult. The more you interact with people, particularly in these all space worlds, the more you can learn. So thanks, guys. I hope you're going to stick around for the next meeting because it's going to be an absolute cracker.
I'm a cracker.
Excellent.
Michael,
Wonderful. Okay, Margie.
give us a report too. Give us an update on how you're doing on the fundraiser.
Yeah, we will.
Yeah,
Just to wrap up this lesson, we can repeat that in 10 minutes.